Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. Okay, give you this. Depopulation, is not a myth. It's policy. Whether or not anybody cares to admit it or not, that's exactly what's going on. And while it's not out in the open, it's not like Nazi Germany lining people up in front of a ditch and getting rid of them. No, this is a little bit more subtle. You see, there aren't many certain things in life. Death and taxes certainly are certain. We all know we got to pay taxes. And unless you are completely a lunatic who believes in immortality, you know you're going to die someday. The problem that we've got is the powers that be, or the ones that actually think they're in power, want to accelerate that. It's pretty sad when the rich and powerful think that they know more than we do. That, if the world only had less people, we'd be so much better, right? I mean, we could take the Georgia Guidestones, albeit destroyed. We could take the comments out of John Kerry's daughter about, people needing to die to save the planet. Newsflash to you. If we all die, who cares about the planet? There's nobody left, right? But now, we've all talked about the stories for years about, we need to have 800,000 people on the planet and that's it. And then the planet will be okay. Climate change won't be an issue. We can all run around in our loincloths and our fig leaves, right? This is the lunacy out there. But what I'm saying here is they're trying to, the powers that be, kill off the population and just keep those that they want. I mean, I've mentioned this before. The movie, if you ever saw it, the original, I thought it was a great movie, The Kingsman. Okay. Good movie. It was a comedy, but it was, comedy has a tendency to reflect reality. That's where it's based upon. Okay. And this is kind of what's going on. You look at some of this stuff. I mean, we go back over the last, 20 some odd years at this point. We're legalizing drugs. Okay, whatever you want to say about it, that's your matter. I've never known anybody who wasn't on drugs to die of a drug overdose. I mean, unless, of course, they were spiked or something like that. Sure, that's a possibility. Okay. So, okay, if we get rid of a few of those people, they're the undesirables in the country anyway, right? That's what the powers that be would think. Yeah, great. So we lose a few of them. Who cares? Okay. We could go back to the policies of COVID, the policies in New York. Let's put all these people into, cramped spaces and nursing homes, all that sort. And then they all started dying left and right. Oh, well, they're just useless eaters anyway. They're retirees. They don't contribute anything to society, right? This is kind of the Democrat talking points, right? The World Economic Forum talking points. The useless eaters was not a comment I made up. I make that point, okay? So we could get rid of the elderly. No problem. We could take a look at Oregon, for example, state thereof. Oregon made assisted suicide legal in 1997. Since then, about 10,000 people in Oregon have voluntarily taken their own lives, legally. Okay. Now, I'm going to guess that there are some people that did that for medical reasons. You know, they're terminally ill, the pain is excruciating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I'm not going to argue with that. But how many people did it because life just got too much to bear? Now, we've all had suicidal thoughts in our lives. I'm sorry, that's a fact. High school was a time where people thought about it, okay? Not that most of us acted upon it. But we've all gone through tough times in our lives. Some, hell, I went through losing my job, a divorce, and becoming homeless in a week. Oh my God, it's over, right? And there's two types of people. The type that say, screw it, I'm going to end it all, and whether it's going out and getting completely stoned and ODing, whether it's drinking yourself to death or whatever, however. And there's the other people who say, I'm not going to let this get me. I'll come out of it, right? You've probably read stories like I have here recently about Zoomers, of course, blaming everybody about, older than them. It's all our fault that they can't make it in life. What's the point? You expect me to get up in the morning, go to work, come home, go to sleep, turn around and do it all over again? What kind of life is that? The one we all had, we all went through, okay? Sorry you can't buy your Mercedes, your $7 latte, and your McMansion, at age 22. We couldn't either, okay? So, cry me a river. I don't care about your perils that you're going through. We all did too. We started out in apartments. Maybe we bought a small condo or a mobile home or something, and we worked our way up. That's the path everybody's taken. But you're getting Zoomers now starting, I don't want to call them suicide groups, but groups of people getting together to talk about not doing it, but talk about how to do it. That life is so terrible for them that I'd be better off dead. No, you wouldn't. Okay. And again, we can get into all the comments of you may be ending your life, but you are destroying other ones. Talk to all these people who've lost loved ones from, I don't know, being murdered, kidnapped, dying of cancer, whatever. Talk about how hard it is on the families. Okay. You're never the same. Thank God I can say I have not experienced losing a child. Okay. I know many of you can. But they're pushing to depopulate. Look at what is now coming up in Canada. Canada is expected to euthanize, assisted suicide, 15 million people over the next 20 years. Oregon had 10,000 do it in, 28? And Canada's planning on doing, 750,000 a year. Okay. 7.5 times every year. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. 75 times. It's 4:30 in the morning. Let me get my math right. Why? It's another way to get rid of people. It's got to the point now where it doesn't even matter if you're done. We can get rid of them ourselves, right? Story in the news over the weekend, another one, okay, of somebody waking up on the operating table. Not to fix them, but to go harvest their organs, right? You had a guy in Kentucky, Anthony Hoover, who the doctors declared him brain dead, but as they were wheeling him into the operating room to harvest his organs, he's looking around and everything, and finally the doctor's like, he ain't dead. We can't do this. Okay, that story just came out. It's not the only one. You had a case of Colleen Burns in New York, 2011. Same thing. Thought she was dead. She woke up on the operating table. Oops. Karina Melchior, this was in Denmark, but 2011 as well. Same thing. Declared brain dead after a car accident. And, then she woke up on the operating table. They don't care. Oh, it's close enough. No, there is no gray area in death. It's pretty absolute. It's kind of like computers. Ones and zeros. You're either dead or you're not dead. Okay? And a medical professional should be able to tell the difference. But see, there's the problem that we all face. Is it economically viable to keep this person alive? Now, I know people have do not resuscitate orders and all sorts of final wishes. Legal form that, do not attach me to machines, no, and you could pick a whole different array of what you don't want done to you at the end of your life. Okay. But when does it get to the point that the medical profession, the hospital, the doctor, makes that decision for you? I mean, it's now to the point where feeding tubes and a saline drip are now being deemed optional. Well, is it medically necessary? I don't know, putting nutrition or putting water in your body, it's kind of necessary for life. Well, if we don't do this, he'll expire. Well, of course, if anybody doesn't eat or drink, they're going to die. So no, this is not, up for debate. That's a medical necessity. If somebody doesn't have the ability to chew and swallow, then you feed them intravenously, simply put. But no, it's now up to the hospital to decide. Well, that's going to be a little expensive. It'd be cheaper just to let Joe die. Well, yeah, of course it would. But, hey, maybe we can harvest his organs and then we could sell those, right? Because we haven't heard any stories in the news in, the last 10 years about selling organs. Right? This is the thing. They're trying to depopulate the world. Not out in the open, covertly. Hey, if life's too rough, come on in. We'll put a needle in your arm and it'll all be over in a few minutes. I'm sorry, I'm not a sick cat that you're putting to sleep. Oh, we'll just legalize all this stuff, and if somebody dies from it, that's acceptable losses, right? You wonder why they call it the war on drugs. Collateral damage. They don't care. I hate to tell this to them. There's a whole lot of us, including me, who ain't going quietly into that good night. We will fight you tooth and nail. Told Mrs. P, I have a very good idea of what my cause of death is going to be. I've known it probably since I was a teenager. And no, it's not medical. Because I'll go down fighting to the end. I'm not letting globalists take over this country, this world, whatever. If I can do the teeniest, tiniest thing to stop them. If I have to be the last man standing, I'll be the last man standing. But I'm betting there's a whole lot of people out there that think the same way I do. I'll leave when I'm damn well ready to leave. And if I'm called home ahead of time, that means he's decided I'm ready to leave. Not anybody that walks on this planet. He decides. Pinball out.